Hello everybody, welcome back. It's of course Sport Federation TV, and as you know, every week we take a look at what's happening in the world of sport in the Western Cape. Nice full show for you again. Well, of course sport is very busy, lots of events at the moment. A lot of teams in fact going overseas to compete in World Cups, World Championships. We've got a few countries coming to South Africa to compete, and a lot of these teams are chock-a-block with Western Cape athletes that have managed to get into these squads. You'll of course remember Western Cape Climbing, been on the show with us many times, in studio with me now, Tiffany Wells. Tiffany, welcome back.
Thank you for having me back.
I just got to get the title right. Western Cape, and you're of course very involved with high performance climbing.
Yes, yeah.
So just give us a little bit of a rundown. What does that mean? How do you kind of capture that definition? What is high performance climbing?
So high performance climbing is taking our Western Cape's very best and trying to give them the best possible opportunities to be able to train hard and understand their bodies, understand nutrition, sleep, all of those things to make them perform optimally. So we have a group of kids that we get together, we run workshops, we do training camps together, all sorts of things, and we just try and get them ready for things like provincials, nationals, and the World Cups.
So give me an idea of the kind of things that you might do. I mean, we've seen that you guys have been talking about this collab stuff where you've got physios and psychologists and nutritionists. Am I heading in the right direction?
Yeah, definitely. So what we've done is we've gotten all sorts of different professionals together, and they run workshops focusing on what they specialize in. So taking everybody's knowledge and pooling it together, and then being able to share that and collaborate together makes for really good athletes. So we've had workshops where we've had a nutrition talk, and we even had a sleep specialist come in, discuss sleep and training and all sorts of things. And when our team now traveled to Dallas recently, we even went and got a jet lag toolkit and told them how to work through getting through jet lag quickly so that they could get competing and get training once they got to Dallas, and like things like that.
So that's quite interesting. I mean, I suppose in your field, climbing, you have to lean on experts that have got maybe knowledge in other sport codes as well. So do they have to adapt their sort of high performance approach to make it relevant for climbing, or is there a one size fits all scenario?
So I think there is certain adaptation to climbing specifically, because it is different to all different sports are different, but for the most part the model is pretty similar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So how does one, I was going to say, qualify to get into the high performance program or part of that, or do you just bring your top athletes that you know are going to compete? How does it work? I mean, your guys have grown so much in the last 2 years. You've got all these kids, moms and dads, all doing climbing now. It's Block 11, right, in Pardon Island?
Yes.
And you've got one in Deep River as well.
Yeah.
And then there's City Rock as well. So I mean, you guys are exploding at the moment. Yeah. You're chock-a-block. But not all of them are going to be involved with high performance.
So a lot of these kids are in clubs. They're in climbing clubs where they have coaches that see them every week. They do training sessions with them, etc., etc. And then Western Cape Climbing runs competitions. So we have an inter-club where all the clubs get together. They compete against each other for a trophy, and that's one of the competitions. Inter-club leads into a provincial competition where you enter in so that you can see if you can get your provincial colours. That obviously will come out. You'll have a podium position for that. And then leading on from that is nationals, where you'll then compete against the guys from all over the country, and you get your podiums for that. And as a high performance collaboration, we look at their performance over those competitions, and we see who's sitting on the podiums, who's performing optimally, and who is likely to get a spot on that national team, and we pull them through, and we take them. And we focus on kids not only wanting to compete nationally and internationally, but kids that want to really push themselves in the outdoor circuit as well.
So that's an interesting picture though, because if I'm a high performance athlete, I probably have a handful of opportunities where I can come to the gym, do the training in front of a coach, maybe even have an eating opportunity, maybe even have a sleeping opportunity, but the rest I have to do myself. I've got to go home, and I've got to get my ducks in a row at home. Are there certain things that you give to the kids, the parents, and say, this is what you've got to go do in your time?
So each individual normally has their own coach from their club, right? So our role is to guide them and their coaches, and to collaborate together, share ideas and all of that sort of thing. So
Yeah.
it's the role of the coach to look at that athlete holistically and say to them, outside of training, this is what I want you to do at home. This is what I want you to look at in terms of your diet, in terms of your sleep, your lifestyle, all of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And what we do is we host these workshops to give as much information as possible so they can give it to those athletes and say, like, this is what I think is best for you. Because the coaches, at the end of the day, they know their athletes best. They see them every
Yeah.
single week,
Yeah.
you know. So we see them, but we see them a little bit less. So the whole aim of the game is to try and like get everybody on board and everybody building each other up.
The big talking point at the moment is, of course, the success you guys had internationally. You just Team South Africa went to Texas. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the Team South Africa went to Dallas, Texas. I was lucky enough to be voted in from our national federation as the head coach for that trip, which was really exciting. So we took athletes, and a lot of them were Western Cape climbing athletes, which was really exciting, to Dallas for approximately 3 weeks, where they competed in the World Championship. And yeah, they all did exceptionally well. It's probably one of the best teams we've sent so far in all the years, which was really exciting to see, and it's great to see the progress. And it's really great to see the change in the athletes now that they've been a part of this high performance program and the things that applying the things they've learned.
Yeah.
It's been really cool.
So how does the World Championships compare to the Olympics that you guys had recently?
So there's a slight differences in formats. Olympics, they're still testing the waters on how climbing works as a sport. So it's combined. So with Olympics, you have to climb in both last it was all 3 disciplines. In 2024, it will only be 2 of the disciplines that are combined.
Right.
But you get a combined medal for climbing in 2 different types of climbing.
Right.
Whereas when you go to a World Cup, you can enter any of the 3 disciplines available, and you rank individually in those ones.
So as the head coach for South Africa at the World Championships for climbing in Texas, what are the kind of things that you had to do? I mean, what we're seeing at the moment is coaches are not just standing on the side of the field. They are mommies, they're dads, they're worrying about the laundry, they're checking on the hotel bookings, they're worrying about the bus, who's fetching me, or the WhatsApp's working, all of that.
So we had a management team together with us. So we had a manager, we had a head coach, we had a performance manager as well. So luckily as a team, we could worry about all of those little details. But as a coach specifically, you need to worry about how that child is doing away from home. They're a really long way from home. A lot of them didn't travel with their families. You have to make sure, that they're eating well enough, that they're sleeping well enough, that they're not staying up all night watching movies.
The moms and dads are messaging you saying, how's my boy?
You're in a 7-hour difference in the time zone, there's a lot of dynamics there. For a team. So you're not only preparing them for this really hectic level of competition, but at the same time you're trying to make sure that they're okay because they're so far away from home.
All right, well the big question is, of course, how did we do?
We did really well. One of the most notable achievements is an achievement of Nicholas Allen. He's one of our Western Cape climbing athletes, and he is the first youth athlete that we've had from South Africa to make it into a semi-final for both lead and bouldering.
That's great.
So the team was really excited to be cheering him on and going to a semi-final and watching him compete. It was very cool.
What comes next now? I mean, going there 3 weeks, this is a big thing for you guys. I mean, it's a long time away from home. It's almost your mind is completely away for that time, and you come back home and it's like pulling the plug. You kind of, a lot of people go overseas and it's over. What's next for you guys?
So we learned so much there. We had the privilege of being able to go to their high performance training centers, had access to some of their world-class climbing facilities, things like that, and they just gave us a million ideas from this. So now what we need to do is we need to get back and try and put some of these things in action. We need to continue with the high performance team. We want to grow it. We're heading into competition season again. So at the beginning of the year, early in February, they're back into provincials. They need to compete. Nationals is in March. We're going to choose another team again
so
now.
there's no taking the foot off the gas?
Nope. No, none at all. No resting, no Christmas lunch.
No Christmas lunch. But, well, I suppose you guys, there'll be some holidays and time to go into the mountains and have a bit of climbing and walk around, have a bit of social fun as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. All of these athletes love getting outdoors. and they'll definitely be going out, and I'm sure during the holidays they'll be getting their time out there.
So I put something on Instagram the other day wearing a baseball helmet, and it took about 5 seconds before someone from Western Cape Climbing said, "So when are we going to get you on a wall?" If somebody wants to join, how would I join? Tell me, how's a mom or dad or public listening to you now going, "Wow, I want to get my daughter or son into climbing. How do I get started?"
So my advice for the first step would be to go visit either of the gyms. There's Block 11 in Pardon Island, and there's a City Rock in Pardon Island as well, and there's another Block 11 branch in Deep River, depending on which one's closer.
Yeah.
Both facilities offer courses or intro courses. Block 11 on a Saturday offers it for free. You sign up, there's 10 people in the course, you come through, we show you the basics. You can decide whether this is something that you love, you know, and from there, if you have that session, you think, wow, this is incredible, and you want to sign someone up, especially if you're trying to sign up a youth athlete, then my advice is to chat at the desks there. They'll put you in contact with someone like me who's a coach, and then I'll get hold of you, and we can organize you a spot in a team, so you can come through every week, try out climbing, climb with athletes your own age, own ability, that sort of thing. And yeah.
That's great. www.westerncapeclimbing.co.za.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. Tiffany Wells, thank you very much for joining. We can't wait to get you back in the studio.
Thank you.
There we go, folks. Tiffany Wells, of course, Western Cape Climbing. They've had fantastic tournament or world championships performance in Texas, in Dallas, Texas recently. www.westerncapeclimbing.co.za. Go check it out. Go find out how to become a climber. Block 11 in Pardon Island and City Rock, and of course in Deep River as well. All there, somebody waiting for you. Knock on the door and say, "I want to start." We'll take a break. When we come back, we'll carry on talking about sport in the province. Back in a sec.